Tom Brady spent 23 years telling every young quarterback the exact same thing.
To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. Consistent. You just have to be what most people aren't. Determined and willing to work for it. No shortcuts.
Tom Brady said, "To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts." On December 14th, 2025, Patrick Mahomes scrambled out of the pocket against the Los Angeles Chargers, planted his left leg, and tore his ACL and LCL on the same play.
Patrick Mahomes has a torn ACL.
The dynasty was already dying. That injury just made it official. This is not a story about a quarterback who lost his talent. This is a story about the greatest arm in the NFL being destroyed by the very thing that made it special. Brady never said Mahomes' name. He didn't have to. Because everything Brady built, everything he preached, everything he sacrificed for 23 years was a warning aimed directly at a style of play that Patrick Mahomes perfected. And in 2025, every word of it came true. To understand what Brady was warning about, you need to understand what he actually did differently. From every other quarterback who ever played, Brady was drafted 199th overall, 6th round. He couldn't run. He couldn't scramble. His 40-yard dash time was 5.28 seconds. Scouts called him too slow, too weak, too unathletic for the modern NFL. And Brady turned those weaknesses into the blueprint for the longest career the position has ever seen. He built his entire game around one principle. Don't get hit, quick release. Read the defense before the snap. Get rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds. Step up inside the pocket instead of rolling out. Take the check down instead of the hero throw. Brady was obsessed with avoiding contact because he understood that every hit is a deposit into an account that eventually runs out. His trainer, Alex Guerrero, built the TB12 method around pliability, long, soft muscles instead of bulk, resistance bands instead of heavy weights, anti-inflammatory nutrition instead of fast food. Every single element of Brady's career was designed to make him last. Brady said, "I'm proud to still be playing at the highest level. Not only do I feel as healthy as I ever have." He won his 4th ring at 37, his 5th at 38, his 6th at 43, his 7th at 43. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because a player decides at 25 what kind of career he wants at 40. Now look at Mahomes. At 23, he throws 50 touchdowns. By 27, he has 3 Super Bowl rings, the fastest start in NFL history. Nobody in the sport has ever been this dominant this early. But here is what nobody wanted to talk about: how he was getting it done. Mahomes didn't play like Brady. He played like the opposite of Brady, rolling out of the pocket, throwing sidearm across his body while sprinting, taking hits from 300-pound linemen because he refused to throw the ball away, the no-look passes, the left-handed flicks, the scrambles that turned broken plays into touchdowns. Every single one of those plays was spectacular, and every single one of those plays was a withdrawal from that same account Brady never touched. Brady said on the Pivot podcast, "When I see these young players, like I see Patrick out there at quarterback, running around laughing, having fun, I'm like, I used to be like that. What the hell happened to me? I just got too serious." Everyone heard that quote and thought Brady was being nostalgic, envious even. Nobody heard what he was actually saying. Brady got serious because he understood that joy without discipline has a shelf life, and the shelf was about to collapse. February 2025. Super Bowl 59, Kansas City against Philadelphia. This was supposed to be the coronation, a 4th consecutive Super Bowl appearance, a 3rd straight championship. Instead, the Eagles dismantled them, 40-22. Mahomes was sacked 6 times, intercepted twice. The offensive line couldn't protect him, and for the first time in his career, Mahomes looked like he had no answers inside the pocket. Did anyone stop and ask why? The offensive line was aging. Kelsey was 35. The receiving weapons were thin. But the real question was different. Why was Mahomes taking so many sacks? Because his entire game was built on extending plays, on scrambling, on buying time with his legs. When the legs can't buy time, what's left? Brady in the pocket at 43 was faster than Mahomes under pressure at 29. Not physically, mentally. Brady's release was under 2.5 seconds. Mahomes held the ball, rolled out, looked for the big play, and absorbed the punishment. Then came the 2025 season. And here is where the warning became prophecy. The Chiefs opened 0-2, losses to the Chargers and Eagles. Mahomes was on pace to rush for over 1,000 yards. 1,000. For context, it took Brady 19 seasons to reach 1,000 career rushing yards total. Mahomes was doing it in one season, not because he wanted to run, because he had to. The offensive line couldn't protect him. The running backs couldn't move the chains. And Mahomes was left doing the one thing that Brady spent 2 decades avoiding, carrying the entire team on his body. Mahomes said, "Coach Reid has challenged me this offseason to push the ball down the field, but pushing the ball down the field requires time in the pocket, and time in the pocket requires an offensive line." And the Chiefs had gutted theirs, paying Mahomes, Jones, and Kelsey. The system that Andy Reid built was collapsing, not because the scheme was wrong, but because the scheme only worked when Mahomes could create magic. And magic has a physical cost. 6 wins, 8 losses, eliminated from the playoffs for the first time since 2014. The 9-year streak of division titles, gone. Mahomes posted 22 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, 34 sacks, his lowest grade since 2020. A career low passer rating of 19.8 in a single game against Houston. Travis Kelsey at 36 dropped the pass that sealed the season. Arrowhead went quiet. And if you think Mahomes is the first superstar quarterback this happened to, you haven't been paying attention. Cam Newton won the MVP in 2015 at 26 years old. He was the most physically dominant quarterback the league had ever seen. 6'5", 245 pounds, running through linebackers like a fullback and throwing deep shots like a franchise passer. 15 rushing touchdowns that season. The Panthers went 15-1. Newton didn't just win the MVP. He looked like he was going to redefine the position forever. Then Super Bowl 50 happened. Denver's defense hit him 18 times. Newton took punishment that no pocket passer would have absorbed because no pocket passer would have been in those positions. The next season, his shoulder started breaking down. Then, his foot. By 2019, he couldn't throw a deep ball anymore. The arm that once launched missiles was reduced to wobbly spirals. Newton was out of the league at 33, not because he lost his mind, because his body cashed the checks his style kept writing. Did Mahomes watch that? Did anyone in Kansas City see the pattern? The most athletic quarterback of his generation, destroyed by the very athleticism that made him great. And now Mahomes, the most athletic quarterback of this generation, is recovering from a torn ACL and LCL at 30 years old, suffered while scrambling. Here's the part that makes this story unbearable. Brady tore his ACL too. 2008, first game of the season, he missed the entire year. But when Brady came back, he won 4 more Super Bowls. He played 14 more seasons. He played until 45. Why? Because Brady's game was never built on his legs. When his knee healed, his quick release was still there. His pocket awareness was still there. His ability to process defenses before the snap was still there. The injury didn't take anything from Brady's game because Brady's game was designed to survive injuries. Mahomes' game is built on improvisation, on athleticism, on extending plays with his legs and creating throws that nobody else can make. If the knee heals perfectly, will he still trust it? Will he still scramble into traffic at full speed? Will he still plant and throw across his body while a defensive end is closing on his blind side? Or will he become a different player? A pocket passer who doesn't have a pocket passer's instincts because he spent the first 8 years of his career running away from the position Brady mastered? Mahomes himself said something after the season that cuts deeper than any statistic. He said, "I think just compounding mistakes. For myself, I look at the red zone interceptions I threw. Offensively, we weren't consistent enough. We've got to be better, and that starts with me." Brady said the same words 20 years earlier, but Brady said them after winning. The difference isn't humility. The difference is timing. Brady got serious at 25. Mahomes is getting serious at 30, coming off a destroyed knee, with a roster that needs rebuilding and a dynasty that's already dead. Mahomes is recovering in Kansas City. He had surgery the night of the injury. Mahomes said, "Attack every single day over and over again. I will be back stronger than ever." Those are the right words. But words don't rebuild ligaments. And discipline at 30 is harder to learn than discipline at 25. Brady was once asked which current quarterback could duplicate his career. He didn't hesitate. Brady said, "I just think Patrick. I love his mentality. He has the will to win." That was the compliment. But the will to win was never Brady's secret. His secret was the will to sacrifice, to throw the check down when the hero ball was available, to eat avocado ice cream while his teammates ate pizza, to go to sleep at 8:30 every night for 23 years, to be boring, to be disciplined, to be what most people aren't. Mahomes has the will to win. The question nobody in Kansas City can answer is whether he has the will to change. Because the next 10 years of his career depend on learning the one lesson that Tom Brady spent a lifetime teaching. The legs don't carry you to 45, the mind does. If you want more stories where the real story starts long before the highlights, subscribe for more.